Roman, how are you today?
Hi, Menche.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
What we're going to do is we're going to spotlight you for everyone, right? But what you're going to do is you're going to interact with Jeff. Okay, so Jeff is your touch. He'll introduce himself. He'll ask you to join the elevator for 1 minute. And on my side, Menchi, I'll take the liberty of my timer just to make sure that we stay within time. Jeff, are you ready, sir?
I am indeed. Yeah, I can't wait.
So, Roman, we're going to start the time the second you begin speaking, right? But Jeff, start your intro, invite him to the elevator, and let's get started.
Okay, terrific. Roman, it's really, really good to meet you, sir. I would love to hear more about your company. It sounds extraordinarily exciting. Why don't you just pop in the elevator and just talk to me on our way up to the top?
Thank you, Jeff. Also, good to meet you. And as you know, our company starts from today. We're basically building data infrastructure for all participants who want to sell and buy skills. So it's people, employers, and educational providers. So we build data pipelines where all these participants can interact and sell skill products. Skill products, we call it, so what's the skill products? It's vacancies, it's educational products, courses, programs, basically anything that you can express like skill, time, and money. This is we call skill product. And we're building infrastructure where people can buy and sell these skill products.
Okay. Anything else, Roman? What are you looking for? How can Jeff help you? Are you looking for funding? Are you looking for capital?
No, I think the reason why we're here, all our team on this startup accelerator, to actually, I think it's a good team building for us and a good exercise where we can like synchronize between our team in our understanding, and hopefully Jeff and you and other mentors can help us build the story.
Okay.
So we're pretty sure about our product, but it's quite complex, and I think what we need is to tell good story about it.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I think that's kind of where I was a little bit kind of at a loss for words, trying to figure out like what is the next question I ask Roman at this stage, right? Because I'm not quite sure what buying and selling skills, and then you define what the skills thing is to a degree, but I still didn't kind of recognize it based on based on any kind of like traditional models I had in my head. I'm sort of like, is it a package? Is it a bit of software? Is it what is it the skills thing is? So you're absolutely right. I think it's super important to make sure that you're dead clear about the thing you talk to people about is something they will understand, right? From a much kind of broader, more kind of generic, sense of description. And to kind of really help people kind of understand what it is you do, sometimes it's useful to take people on a very quick journey to say, this is how people interact with what we do. This is how people benefit from what we do. Here's the problem that we're solving for. And here's why we think now is the right time for this thing to happen. And when you guys are pitching me, by the way, and this is true for everybody, pitch me as if I'm an investor. Pitch me like I'm sat on top of a mountain of about 25 million. And I'm going to kind of share this maybe with 3 or 4 different kind of early stage companies I believe in. And so your ask is always ever about it's some degree of money, and then what you're going to do with it, kind of thing. So that's kind of like what the pitch needs to be. But does that make sense, Roman, in terms of like kind of really honing this down to kind of get me, who's never heard of what it is you do, really excited about where you're going to go with it?
Yeah.
I understand. It's really interesting that we yesterday just compete on the pitch competition. We participate in the HR Tech show in London here in Excel Center. So So it was for the 2 days, and we actually won semi-final, and we got to the final. So we compete with the 4 other startups on the HR tech, and I make like a big explanation what we are building, and still it was difficult to explain. But
can we dig into that?
I will try.
Yeah, can we dig into that a little bit? Like Jeff, if it's okay, Roman, let's talk about it right now. And what we're going to do, Roman, we'll talk to you about how we heard it, right? Because this is the other thing, right? You know, usually when you go to a pitch competition, they'll say it's good, it's bad, it's interesting, it's a competition. For us, our goal is to dig deep in terms of what you're building and make sure your whole 60-second pitch strikes a chord. Okay?
Spot on.
Now,
may I ask one question before I start? Jeff, you are an investor with 25 millions, and what is your average check when you give investments? I just need to understand what is the...
Yeah, it all depends on what you're going to need, Roman. So
whatever you want, Roman. It's whatever check you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So it could be 200 grand. It could be 2 million. I don't know. It really depends on what you want. But
let
me just give you some quick context. By the way, so you and I were at the same conference yesterday. Okay. So I was.
Yeah, I thought that.
Yeah,
I thought that you might be on this conference.
Yeah. And I'm really big into this whole skills economy notion, right? So I follow Josh Burson and David Ulrich and everything else, and I'm plugged into Eightfold and TechWolf and Fuel 50 and all these companies that are basically building skills models that basically organizations can then kind of play with to then kind of help people migrate their careers simply based on the skills that they've developed and or want to develop. And it helps organizations really understand what the relative skill base is in their organization so they can best position people like chess pieces against new products and against new projects and you know, kind of transformations that they're undergoing and things of that nature. So I broadly understand this stuff and I'm really excited about it. I was just, where it kind of fell off for me was when you were saying, you know, we kind of like allow you to kind of buy and sell skills. We create the infrastructure to be able to do that. And I was sort of like, ooh, okay. So I own a company, pardon me, and it's a knowledge-based company. So let's say it's a consultancy. I own Accenture. What can your company do for Accenture? And how can it transform the way we think about skills and people?
Okay. This is a good question. We can provide you software as a service. So we provide you access to the dashboard where you can put all your...
I got a dashboard. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you can put all your current employees with all... basically invite employees to your system. And you can put all your positions in your company in
all
our
the job vacancies.
Not only vacancies, but also current positions that are occupied by your employees. All charts. Yeah, we can show you all your skill set in the company in terms of hours and money. Basically, it's allow you to move your employees from the liabilities part to the asset part. You can perceive your employees like a bank of skills. And the most important thing that you can do skill accounting, because it's something you can measure, you can manage it. And this important thing that we think that skills sold by hours, and we think that skill is a financial instrument like bond or share, which has a buy price and sell price.
Oh, okay. So what you're doing is actually you're taking skills, which is kind of like an ethereal concept, right? It's a bit fluffy, it's a bit woolly. And what you're actually doing is applying sort of economic realities to that, right? You're actually like you'd say a skill is ability to develop in TensorFlow. You know, so that's great for AI developers, right? That skill set is quite rare. And so somehow you've done the kind of global economic math on that to say how rare and how specialized is that skill. And therefore, based on that rating, we have assigned a value to that skill. And that skill for TensorFlow development, right on up there, man. That's an expensive skill, right? Is that kind of like what you're doing?
Exactly. So we can calculate this value for For example, we can calculate demand for some particular skill in some particular area in some industry. We can calculate the average price of where you can buy this skill. We take it from the universities and online courses. We can calculate the average skill for how you can sell it to employers, because we know it's from the vacancies on the market. We can show you exactly demand and exact supply for skills on the market.
So what is that? So as the owner of Accenture, then, what does that help me do in terms of understanding what the relative value of skills are, and looking at my employees? What does that help me kind of figure out?
First of all, you can figure out what is the skills bring you the most money. First of all, you can connect your skill with the exact product that you are selling. So you can see the performance of exact product, knowledge product. You can see a shortage of the skill in your company. You can understand return on investments when you educate and train your people. You can see the difference when you're in the people that you hire. Because
so it's basically monetizing what was otherwise sort of a non-monetizable asset. I could only ever kind of track the cost associated with an employee, but what I couldn't do is figure out what their relative worth was to me. And importantly, did these skills exist where I need them to exist, and in either forward planning and thinking or in existing products and things of that nature. Gotcha. Okay, so that's what you're doing. Is
that's really powerful, right? I mean, Roman, that what you just spoke to with Jeff just now, and you can probably get feedback from everyone else here, Roman. What you just described now is much more powerful than your elevator pitch. Okay, and when I look at what you're doing, allow me, if I may, Roman, is it okay if I give you some different sound bites to use in your elevator pitch that might enhance your introduction? Is that okay?
That's why we're here.
Okay. All right. Now, just so you're aware, I'm going to give you some feedback, but Jeff is the master at this. So I'm going to start a little bit. Okay. And we're going to record this as well. All right. So make sure that Roman and the team get the recording. Okay. Now, I'm gonna take my time. It won't be in an entire minute, but I want you to just listen to what I'm saying, because what I've done is I've read up, I listened today, and through the conversation that you just had right now, this is where I think the magic is going to happen. Okay. If I was pitching your idea, I would start off by telling the world about the current state of employment. Okay. We're at a world today where people are not excited, right? There's the great resignation. A lot of people are leaving their jobs. They're only spending 6 to 12 months at a certain place. They don't feel like they are leveling up and developing as individuals. That's one of the reasons they leave. The other thing is with all of the skills that are available to learn now, right? The idea of knowledge and everything, including, what AI can do now, is presenting a huge opportunity to rethink about how we treat employees. And you are treating them as an asset that needs to be educated, maintained, built over time. Okay. And your platform is going to be the next generation HR platform that's going to allow best in class ability to not just assess somebody for a job, but also assess their ability for future skill development, right? I might be a better hire right now than Jeff, but Jeff might have a higher propensity and brain to learn new skills. Okay. And so you gauge their ability to learn, and then you are the person that allows the project managers and everyone to be in a position to be able to level these people up. And you are now creating the super teams of the future, right? In any organization, it's team and execution. You're creating the super teams, right, through your platform that are going to allow businesses to be future ready, which is very important in today's world. They're also going to be a lot more productive. They're also going to have a much lower turn rate with what's happening in the current environment. And most importantly, employees are going to be happier, okay? Because they have a sense of purpose, they're learning, they're developing. And not only that, if they're doing more skills and creating more value for the company, they're going to earn more money as well. And so you are encapsulating that in your platform, and you are now the next generation. You are turning HR on its head, Jeff. Is it fair to say, Jeff? I mean, you're the HR expert.
Yeah, this is exactly
flipping it. You're flipping it in terms of HR for the last 10,000 years that people have been hiring people, Jeff, is about what can you do now and when can you start? You are now looking at it in terms of, in this world of change, in the world where, generative AI is turning the knob and people have to continually learn and change their skill sets every 12 months. You are now saying not just how good you are now, but you are creating like a Moneyball thing, Jeff. Moneyball, where you're assessing their future and being able to bring that value to an employer, Roman. You're transforming your space. Does that make sense, Roman? Is what I'm saying resonating with you?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Only one thing that in our conversation with Jeff, we discuss only 1/3 of implication of our product, how it looks like from the HR perspective. Yes. But we work also with universities, and it's I think in some cases it's much more important what we do for education, because everything starts in a school and in a university, and sure. In order to optimize this process, we also can help to show people what is the demand to make informed decision before they start their career, what they will look after 3, 4, 5 years. So and also we work with the government where they can see all the spectrum of demand and supply for skill market and make a good policy. So basically we have 3 products. One in the database. Another one, it's a B2B product for universities, HR, for recruiters and governments. Sure. The third product is completely B2C product for people. Yeah. So we have like 4 different applications of the same infrastructure. So if you ask me about one sentence about product, we built infrastructure. And all participants like people, educational providers, HR and governments can use it. And all for the different purposes.
Of course. Now, obviously, in the starting point, we might need to decide where we're going to focus on, and that's something you and Jeff can dig deep in, right? I have my opinion on the cycle time with governments, the sales cycle time with educational institutions. So we can take that offline. But Roman, I wanted to come back to what I was telling you, right? I get you have 3 products, but that's not interesting, like, especially at your stage right now. It's about what you're building right now, right? I just kind of mapped out your disruptive thought process, right? In your pitch, the reason I was giving you this feedback and these sound bites is because you actually are creating a disruptive in a positive way, okay? You're rethink. This whole thing is going to be rejigged. I wanted to get your opinion on what I said, okay? Right? Tell me about what I was saying. Was that resonating with you, Roman? Does that connect?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's kind of, Jeff, where I think it needs to come out. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I get you. Yeah.
And Roman, what's your background? Are you a hacker? Are you a programmer? What's your background?
I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I'm an entrepreneur.
But are you a hacker, a hustler, or a hipster? Which one are you? Are you a sales guy? Are you a product guy? Or are you a hipster? Do you make products cool? Which one are you? Or which one?
I'm a product guy. For the last 4 years, I was. For the last 4 years, I was head of product in Stan.
Yes.
And it's we build a trade finance platform.
Yes.
And last year Please.
So Roman, you're the reason I bring it up is through these journey and the time you spend with Jeff and the rest of the Hyper Accelerator program, Jeff, he's the hacker guy, and we need to transform him for his elevator pitch into more of a hustler type of character. Get what I'm saying? Yeah. Right. So,
everybody's going to,
you know, and so Roman, we're going to challenge you. Okay. Like we're doing right now, and we'll send a recording of this, but we need to just, you know, push that a little bit and make sure that you kind of bring it together, because I feel we are going to be living in the world where what I really like about what you said, Roman, which really stood out to me, is this future proofing an organization. Okay. By finding people that have the propensity to level up their skills and having the dashboard that connects with where the business is going, along with the current skill set. Now, companies like Microsoft have this already, right? They might have it. Okay. But not everyone has this, right, Jeff? We don't have it with everyone, right? And I think that, Roman, that's where you're really going to find value in this. You become that indispensable, you know, future thinking, you know, CHRO, right? The Chief Human Resource Officer, to make sure all of this works in a dashboard, and be in a position, Roman, where it's not just Microsoft and Google, but anyone, even a startup, can utilize what you're doing, right? And build that capacity out, and then do it at a fraction of the price, right? Because when you look at your unit economics, keeping somebody in your organization twice as long has a huge impact on your bottom line, right? If you think about hiring and all the headache and the onboarding and all the stuff that we all hate to do when people leave, right? So, Jeff, I'm going to hand it back to you, sir. Anything else you want to add?
No, other than, I mean, everything you said was spot on, Ash. You're absolutely right. Look, and I think I understand too, Roman is talking not necessarily about different products. Interestingly, it's more kind of different angles on the same product and what people can benefit from. And in truth, it's actually even more than that, Roman, right? You got leadership and management of an organization. You've got HR, you've got employees. Those three folks within the confines of organizations like that will benefit. But then you're talking also about going over to the educational piece and the government piece. And that, again, to Ash's point, gets complicated and it really elongates sales cycles and makes it possibly very painful. But you might be able to kind of, you know, come up with some really cool innovation grants and make that happen. Here's what I suggest we do. Let's get some time together this coming week and just point you over to my office hours. And just use my Calendly update. Let's sit down and actually kind of work some of these components through, so you start to feel even more comfortable with how to get your, you know, your critical elements across. If that makes sense, and we'll get that.
It sounds good. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good. Nice one.
Excellent. And we're going to see you evolve and develop, Roman. So another thing, because you have your whole team here, right, Jeff? One thing is let's make sure Roman, as well as the rest of his team, are like superstar pitchers. Do you know what I mean? So Roman, like, you know, after our program, you should be winning every pitch competition, by the way. Okay. Everyone. Okay. This is like, and if we're not, then we have a problem, right, Jeff? You know, in fact, we've had situations where people have joined pitch competitions and they've been asked, do you know the Hyper Accelerator guys? Have you been to their program? Because elevator pitching is one of the things that we really need to make sure we get right with you, especially in the early stage right now. And I think, Jeff, especially if he's going to approach the corporate space, we just got to map that down right, and we'll go from there. But Roman, congratulations. I mean, this is a revolutionary product, and you're lucky that you have the Jedi Master himself, Jeff, in your corner. And I look forward to the journey with you as part of the program. Right.